or some sort of correlation
Yeah.
that can involve social media with this poll, I guess.
Right. Well, what I'm interested in doing is, like, the thing that is fascinating to me about change
Yes.
is that until you truly get where you are,
When you say truly where you are, you mean in life's goals, or
I don't know.
short term, long term? Is the
What I'm going to kind of start in the middle, Danny.
okay? Sure.
About who I am and
Okay.
because really the interesting thing about my life, to me anyway, is like cancer basically is my mom.
Right.
It was my parents. Like, it rebirthed me. Because I think so much differently now than I did before. Because I kind of had to. My epiphanies kind of started. Like, the thing that I learned about change is it doesn't, like, you don't get change all at once. Like the really big changes, you don't get all at once.
And it doesn't come quickly, right?
No. It does come, and I was very skeptical forever. I'm such a different person. I mean, you've known both me's.
Right, yes. The old Jessica and the new Jessica, yes. Very well.
Yeah, so, I think it would be interesting from the project I want to work on is to ask my friends who've known me,
the old Jess and the new Jess, right?
Yeah, I'm going to use the same terms, but this is not what I mean. BC and AC, I mean before cancer and after cancer.
Okay, BC, AC, okay, right.
Because, I haven't taken polls or anything, and I haven't really read a whole lot of books, but I have to feel like this is a universal experience. Like, the one thing that people told me when I was consistently, there were a couple of things people told me consistently when I got cancer. Until you're that sick, like, one, I never realized how bad I was at offering comfort to someone. Because it's like, I don't know what I wanted to hear,
right?
To make myself feel good after I was told I have cancer. And people are like, what can I do to help? I'm like, I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
I don't know what I need. I'm not rehearsed at this at all. And so the thing that helped me deal with that was I've always been a grass is greener, like, wherever I am, like, I can't think of the phrase where, like, just people are like, oh, the sky is falling, like, all the time.
Yeah.
I was never like that, so I don't know how far one can change, because I know I wasn't, like, 100%, 180% the other way, and I'm still not that, like, I've made, like, this much of a change on a range of this. I don't know. Maybe, like, I was always a positive person, so it's not like I suddenly got that way. But I was a complainer.
Right.
Like,
the old Jess was.
The old Jess was a complainer. But and I would sit there in my life and go, gosh, I wish things were different. Gosh, I wish things were different. But I didn't know how to change. Like, I knew that I wanted to change. And then there were the things that we all know we should change, those of us who have to change them. It's like, if I eat too much and I don't exercise, and, like, all this stuff that really makes sense, it really makes sense to not smoke.
Exactly.
Chemicals.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine with, one, I'll tell you straight up, you can cut this part out, I'm fine with weed. Pot should be legal. That's the other thing I discovered on cancer.
Right.
The pain relief of marijuana, and no, it's not it's not like I'm saying medicinal marijuana, but I think medicinal marijuana is actually different than what I do. So this is why, like, I'm using myself as a guinea pig. This is how I'm spending my time. I'm using myself as a guinea pig to evoke change, because I think pot should be legal. So what I'm doing is, one, I'm a stage 4 cancer patient, so.
So what does that mean to the regular person who doesn't know what stage 4 stage?
What does that mean? Stage 4, like, I should be more versed at cancer than I am. Like, I have a hard time learning things I want to learn about. So it's been a challenge for me to change, because, like, in order to really know what it's going to take, like, what I'm basically asking myself to do is cure my own cancer. Like, stage 4 breast cancer is incurable. They call it chronic. I put that in quotes because they'll say chronic, like diabetes. I'm like, it's not fucking like diabetes.
Right.
But here's the thing that's interesting. It's like diabetes was actually one of the things I was like, thank God I don't have. Like, when I found out I had cancer, I'm like, well, thank God I don't have this and this and this. And I could, like, come up with, like, 50 things off the top of my head. I'm like, I may have cancer, but thank God I don't have whatever. You know, being, like, dirt poor is one of them. You know, like,
exactly.
I had...
You're appreciative for certain things that you have in your life right now.
Yeah, well, one, I was very lucky in... I don't believe that my cancer experience was like everyone else's. I don't know. Because, like, mine was pretty good in terms of cancer experiences, I guess. I really did not have a whole lot of side effects that... I mean, I did get the side effects, like, I was on... first of all, so there's, like, BC, and then there's, like, BMC, something, like, before metastatic cancer, because that's different than my first go-round. So my life really, so it did change in bits, and I had these epiphanies. One, like, so I had wanted to change, like, I was overweight, and, like, I was a smoker and was not working out, like, so there are things choices along the way that I made that contributed to this, I have no doubt. Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, you
so
can't...
sort of lifestyle choices is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I would also take that to, I don't know the statistics. I would like to be able to spew them to support my facts, but hopefully with documentary, this will just... It'll tell me what to say, and then I'll be like, and damn it, now I'm even more enraged, because I really know what I'm talking about. Because I'm a skeptic. I'm like, show me the proof, show me the proof. And right now, like, I have to put a lot of faith in myself, because, like, the medical community is telling me this is not curable. I'm like, you know what? I'm 42. I want to stick around for a while, so...
Western medicine. Medicine here...
Western medicine.
Right.
Yes.
In the United States. Right?
Yeah, at the number 2, formerly number 1 cancer center in the country, in the world, of Western medicine. That's where I'm at. So I'm in, like, the best possible hands. I don't want to say the name, because I don't know if you can do that. But I'm in good hands. And on top of which, like, the actual place is very comforting. I did not originally go... I went to how I found out I had cancer, for all those inquiring minds who want to know, is I'm one of those people who, like, I do the right thing. I go to the dentist twice a year. Okay, I don't floss. I've never... Breast cancer got me to floss. I'll tell you about that later. So what was I saying?
The idea of changing, the idea of you transforming yourself, basically. So you always went to the dentist.
Yeah, so I found out I had cancer because it was my 40th birthday, so I was at my gynecologist, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess it's time for my mammogram, and...
Right.
I'd actually I felt a lump when I was 32 in my right one, and I went in, and it was just like a node or something like that, and I'm like, well, you know what? The ironic thing is, like, I had elective surgery. I'm like, let's take it out, because I don't want to be worrying about it,
Exactly,
Like, is it getting bigger? Is it a thing? Like, you tell me it's not a thing. I just don't want to deal. Take it out. And so that was when I was 32, but it wasn't cancer, and I had no history of breast cancer in my family. It turns out I do, but, like, beyond what they consider, like, active history, which is, I think, mother or sister, is what puts you into the... So I had, like, grandmother, sister, So I went in for my baseline mammogram, basically, and got called back. I had gone to my appointment, and I do the whatever.
Yeah.
Don't know how much guys know about that part.
I don't know nothing about that.
I don't know nothing about no self-breast exams that you women do.
Right.
So I got called back. They're like, there's something, we need to have there's something we want to look at. I'm like, what are they feeling? So I like felt around. I'm like, whoa, okay, that's what they're feeling. But it's like I hadn't felt it before. Like so, like
Did you have any prior pain or anything, or any discomfort?
No. I didn't know anything was wrong until I got that phone call. I was going in for like the baseline.
Yeah, regular checkup.
So I don't know. I've become more of an activist because of cancer. Because shortly after I was diagnosed, I don't know what initials they are, but some organization came out, like some medical organization came out with them preferring baseline mammograms start at 50. I'm like, I would be dead if that were the case. Like I would already. Now the ironic thing is like it turns out I already have stage 4 cancer. So like that's the thing you try to avoid by doing mammograms and catching things early, because that's the cancer that kills you.
Right.
Stage 4 cancer is the cancer that kills anymore. And what stage 4 cancer is, to answer your question, is stage 4 cancer for breast. I'm assuming all stage 4s are like this. I don't know. Is when the cancer cells from the original tumor have moved to a different part of the body and they set up camp. So they're no longer in a local area. In my case, the breast, it's now in my spine and hips. So it's in my bones. So it could be in this pinky. That's my pinky. It could be in this pinky. Like that's not the stuff that causes so much pain. So it's like, I used to be someone who cracked my knuckles a lot. So it's like when you get stage 4 cancer, you think, is that what did it? Was that choice the one that did it? Like it's there's nothing I can do about it, Exactly. So that's like I have to keep relearning that fact, because I'm much happier when I'm like, all right, you know what? I just really I have to start from here, just kind of like Earth,
basically.
Yeah, and change. Like you need to start from where you are. You cannot start from any other place than from where you are.
Right. Western medicine says you can't cure, but on the other hand, you feel that this idea of change, this idea of reform, you can actually reform your body.
Absolutely.
Going backwards in order to go forward, to help yourself, basically.
Yeah.
Physically.
Yes.
We're talking about right now.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, a lot of these ideas are really me trying to cure my cancer.
Right.
Because like how my life is right now is every 3 months I go and I get scans, CT scan. There's so many scans. I get all the scans. Like so I'm like dosed with radiation and nuclear whatever. I get this card that I'm like radioactive for. Although it doesn't really set anything up, because the first time I had it done, I was at JFK the next day. I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to set up the alarms. They're going to. But no, there was nothing.
All right.
So, okay, I this is the problem with talking to me. I'm like, ooh.
No, don't worry. So basically, we're talking about the whole idea of change. You change yourself physically, and now Western medicine says it's incurable. But you have a different opinion, basically, and it's sort of like the different sort of medicine. Like what would you call it, like Eastern medicine?
I don't know that. I mean, I haven't done enough research to be like, in the blah 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 of this country, they're like, yeah, stage 4 cancer, no problem, just eat,
right, exactly.
Just spit, turn around 3 times, and like eat this herb. Like I don't know that it's like I don't know that that's. Because people die from cancer everywhere.
Right.
But it's like, I don't know. It's like, was it always this way? Like, it used to be an old disease. It's just like, because we lived longer, we got into this realm of, the body just breaks down, So, like, it's, again, I don't know statistics, but it seems like there is more cancer. One, people are living longer. So, like, you get into that realm of, like, more diseases. But I have to wonder, and I firmly believe that if there were other choices that we made, that we weren't spewing pollution into our atmosphere, like, I'm covered with toxins all over the place. Like, I drink them, I breathe them, I bathe in them, I wear them, We all do. It's like,
it's out there.
Do you know how many chemicals are in with the fire retardants and on babies? Like, from the time that you are born, you are breathing in chemicals that are right there.
Right.
Like, every cell in your body is getting infused with, like,
chemicals, pesticides.
Like, I'm horrified to think of, like, what the kids who, like, grew up, like, once we really started pumping toxins into our environment, those kids, what their cancer rates are going to be, you know? Because this is stuff I think about. So this is my baby picture.
This is BC.
This is way BC. I don't know, when does cancer start? That's another question. Jessica Faith Ritter, 3 weeks old, September 1969. I don't know how to do that.
The birth of the phoenix.
The birth of the phoenix. Speaking of, this has a little phoenix action, little wing action. My dad with his little baby girl.
So talk to me about growing up. So you grew up in Pennsylvania, right?
I grew up in Pennsylvania.
Rural, was it city-like?
It was rural.
Country-like? Okay.
I grew up specifically in Veracruz. It was a little village, and that was basically my world. Other than, like, going to grandma's house. You know, I remember the trips to grandma's house. But yeah, that's your world when you're little. You know, like I was a latchkey kid.
Any brothers, sisters?
I'm an only child, so no. I had a dog growing up.
What type of dog?
It was an Afghan hound. Lovable, but stupid. They're stupid.
So would he chase after his tail?
He would do that a lot. And he could run. So some of the exercise I got was my best friend growing up, her name was Heather, and she had a Great Dane, which is a huge dog,
right.
And I had an Afghan hound, and they were both prone. We lived in like a circle, so maybe there's like 10 to 12 houses in my circle. Like, there were some plots that weren't. So it's like I grew up in a place where it's like everyone developed at the same time. So like there were a bunch of kids around the same age, right. You know, like because they all. Whatever, when you're early 20s or whatever, so they all moved there and built their houses, and it's like the place where like all the houses are different. It's not like the cookie cutter, development. I grew up in a house my dad built. He's a carpenter, and he also built some of the stuff in here. He built these. I designed them, and he built them. Yeah, so I guess I've always been drawn to, because that's wood, and it's very earthy, and, like metals and things like that, and like, if I had my choice, like, this is what I've come to, like, glass and, all my candles should be soy candles. It's like, it's weird how you start to think about things, and, like...
Yeah, the average person wouldn't think about that.
Yeah.
All the materials...
Unfortunately, the average person needs to think about that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I'm doing the work for all of us, but it's like, the cancer rates are not, like, this ain't going away.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get extremely worse.
Right.
Yeah, so, like we talk about our kids having no future. I'm like, well, we're killing them. I say this because things like it's enraging to me that cigarettes are legal. Like, the government took money from this corporation, institution, right. Whatever, saying, like, you caused cancer, you've killed people. Right. And so they will take the money and continue to take their taxes or whatever.
And a lot of research has shown that, the cigarette industry is directly linked.
Yeah.
It's cancer-causing agents.
Okay, I have to show you the most brilliant thing. Like,
sure.
We as Americans, we sugarcoat everything. I'll come back.
Oh, sure. Excellent.
We market it and package it and field test it and blah, 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 blah. So I brought home from my travels, and the first time I ever went overseas, my big traveling was to London. Shout out to London. 2020 Olympics summer. Looking forward to it. So it's like I wanted to go somewhere foreign.
Now, when did you go to London?
I went to London 10 years ago, actually. Okay. Like, did I get cancer in London? I don't know. I got this in London, though. It's a watch. It's like a little... It looks like a locket, but it's a watch. And the battery stopped on it ages ago. And I love the fact that, like, I walk around with a watch that the time has stopped. You know, I kind of, like, that's what I'm trying to do, is stop time and stay alive. So it's kind of a thing. But in the UK, they just tell it like it is. It says, smoking kills. Okay? You really can't... Now, the fact that they still sell it over there is a crock of shit, you know? All right, then don't sell this shit! Hello! It says right there. Right there.
Incredible. Wow.
So, I'm just going to leave this here.
So the idea of choices and decisions, I think that's huge for kids.
It is huge for kids. And stupid assholes like me who start smoking when I go to acting school... it wasn't peer pressure, but no, Mike Nichols is the reason I smoked. And I'll tell you why. Because he's 80, what the hell does he care now? He wouldn't care anyway. I just read this article about him the other day in New York or something. It's weird how my life has worked. It's like, I've met Mike Nichols. You know, like, Mike Nichols has commented on work that I've done. I usually suck. Like, I hated doing shit for him because, like, he's like, well, did you think about, like, this really obvious thing you should have thought about first? I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I totally didn't think about that. So that's why the whole scene didn't work, because, like, I was, it was very interesting. It's one of those things, I don't know, you talk about teaching. He's an amazing teacher. And I was trying to explain to Jose, it's like, I do not... Mike Nichols is much, much, much smarter than me, but I talk like him in a sense that anyone who's been to his class, and he will say this, and I will say this, it's like, I have no idea where I'm going sometimes, and I may not even end up where I started. I will sometimes, like, and he's brilliant. Like, when so he'll be like, you do a scene, and then he talks about, you know, like, Sharon, Meryl, and Jack, and, like, you know, he's talking about, like, hello, Meryl Streep and, like, Jack Nicholson, and it's just, like, these are people he works with. It's not like he's any, you know, he's just, like, you know, like, just me going, like, you know, Danny and Jose and, like, whatever. Like, these are his peeps, you know?
Yeah. Wow.
You know, like, so he tells stories about, like, his work and his life and stories he's heard to try and illustrate because acting, I mean, acting has... This is why, like, I've grown up. I came to New York to become an actress. Well, not to become an actress. I came to New York very specifically to go to acting school, which is different.
Well, you first went to Penn State, right?
I did. I first went to Penn State. I didn't know what I was going... I went to high school. Like, I did fine in high school. I wish I could have paid more attention. It's like, I was really smart. If I had applied myself, I would have been the valedictorian. Right. You know? I'm going to show that it's my 25th year reunion this year.
So you're going to go back to your high school?
Yeah. I mean, cancer has given me, like, the best, I'm going to look good at my, at my 25th reunion because, like, I've lost 70 pounds in the last 2 years. Not all of it because of cancer. Like, I had started to kind of get on a workout program before I found out I had cancer, but it's like, doing that somehow my body knew that it was going to come up for a fight, and it's like, had I been 40 pounds heavier when I was diagnosed and, like, really depressed, I don't know that things would have turned out the way they turned out.
Yeah, maybe your body was saying it was resisting, like, all these certain, like, things that you were doing, and then your body was saying, that, hey, I need something new in my body, I need a change. Yeah. You know? And the thing, and the body will do this. The body just does this. Like, God created, I'm still on the fence about that one, quite frankly. But whenever, like, the systems of our body and ecosystems and how this whole earth works is, like, pretty perfect. You know, like, if the humans would just stay the fuck out of it, pardon my French. Why is it French when you say that? Stay the fuck out of it. I would learn to speak French. You know, I got a lot of shit to do, so cancer can't take me yet. And that's, like, I come from a line of women. This is my family. 6 sisters. And then there is a brother, but he's not in this photo. I don't know why. He was the first one. He was the oldest one. So this is in my basement. I have those salt and pepper shakers. I probably threw them away, but I had those. That's my mom.
And this is kind of youngest to oldest. Yeah. So I come from this line of women who they just like speak their mind, and you know, like they'll tell you what's what. So.
But are they feminist, or are they just like, well, how would you describe?
I don't really know what feminists are. I actually don't. That doesn't. You know, because I believe everyone should have an equal right. I feel like feminists,
right.
Like to have people who are feminists means like I need to fight extra hard because like I'm not being heard, and I get 70 cents on the dollar, you know, and shit like so. Yeah, I look forward to a world where one day we don't need feminists anymore, or gay rights activists, or you know, like people can just live their life. Okay, I think the cart's full. Well, maybe it's not full. Oh, probably. See, I don't really know what these blinking lights mean, so I'm like, oh, I'm not sure. It's like, that was a pretty big card.
I heard it, yeah.
But I was chatting a lot last night. I don't know what I have. Alright. Alright, so why don't you help me back up here? Now what, because I started a couple of conversations, I don't know how many of them I actually finished, so.
Well, we were talking about your family and the idea that you went to acting school, and well, we're still talking on pre-Jess right now.
Pre-cancer?
Pre-Jess, yeah, BC, before cancer. I guess we can just continue with the family. And,
Jose's like, let me know when you are done so I can come over and get ready. I'm like, you can come in. It's not
exactly, yeah. It's very, you know, it's very formal. Yeah, you know, and we will love to have a chat with Jose. You know, because he's one of the people that knows you AC after cancer. Because
that's right, and only after cancer.
And I mean, a couple of things that I was thinking about, you know, in terms of AC, you know, I felt like you're more passionate about certain things. You're more into the things that you do now.
Yeah.
You're a lot smarter. You're a lot wiser. Of course, you know, experience does matter, and you know, time is relevant to experience. Time is relevant to things that you know.
Well, that is true. I mean, what cancer did. Like I've always been fascinated with time, hence the clocks, and I like the Dali, right, you know, like the melting clocks, and I've always been fascinated with time. I've gotten even more fascinated with time with 8:38. It's a palindrome. Like every time I look at the clock for a while now, this is just a ridiculous aside that has nothing to do with your film, but it's like I feel like I've been thinking a lot about angels and God and like how like messages and stuff like
Signs,
that. And,
right, yeah.
In fact, I was just watching a movie, Signs, even though that's about aliens. But the fighting the aliens was about God.
What kind of bigger picture can we correlate with this?
Well, how it happened. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was kind of divine. So I started with the numbers 9/11. I would see 9/11 a lot. Mm-hmm. Now I'm like, one, living in New York, but even in America, like even prior to Tuesday, like it's a pattern that people recognize. So I started to just kind of question the idea of, am I actually seeing the time 9/11 more frequently than I'm seeing other times, or just do I remember it because it's a pattern that I recognize? You know, like, do I see 8:52 as frequently as I see 9/11 on a clock? But 8:52 doesn't mean anything to me, so I don't I just look at it and move on, and it doesn't register as something meaningful.
Maybe a combination of both?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can't really do any actual testing about it. Because, when I try to see, what time it is, then I'm, pulling myself out of me just looking at the clock randomly.
Yeah.
You know, so when I'm trying to measure, how many times when I look at the clock is it going to be, So, anyway, so I started to, after 9/11, and this is after I had cancer, I started to see the numbers 1111 a lot. And because it was now two things, and they both had 11s in them, like that's when I started to notice, like I'm like, this is interesting. And then I would see things like, I've always loved palindromes ever since I was a kid. Like race car was the longest. Eric Bruder in 5th grade, like that was like the longest we had this contest to do palindromes. Mine were like mom and dad. And it's like the shortest you could possibly. That's the shortest you can have for a word palindrome. You can't just do like M. You know, it has to be 3 letters. So he came up with race car, and I was always fascinated by that. I'm like, whoa! And then there are whole sentences that are palindromes. I'm like. Which I don't remember, but there are. Like, well, that's cool. But anyway, it made me think about time more frequently, just because I love patterns and like I've always been that kind of kid. So I would see, like, whenever I would look at the clock, not right now, but before I commented, it was 8:38.
Correct.
You know, so 838, like, you know, it's just that's a palindrome, or 1221 is a palindrome. So I would start to see that a lot, or like numbers ending in 7. Now, I was bored as hell and I had no job. So I was probably, you know, like looking at the clock, you know, like I allow for the fact that I was home more, therefore in front of clocks more and looking at the clock, you know, like, so I was aware of time more than I had ever been in my life because I was always working or whatever, you know, and I would
and time would fly by.
Or, you know, like drag on. You know, like that's how I noticed it, but it's not like I was spending my time and it's just like, what was the next thing? What was the next thing I had to do? So, I mean, were there points in my life where I felt like I was actually giving myself cancer? Yes, I had that actual thought. I was working for this company, and I've been the kind of person who I really like to do a good job, so I put up my efforts 100% plus, you know, like I give of myself way too much, and that was a boundary I could never find.
It's sort of the testament to your heart, though, because you're willing to give 110%, and at the same time, you know, you kind of forget about yourself a little bit because you're helping someone else. But your job,
if I was actually helping someone else as opposed to some bottom line, you know, like that at the time, it was some bottom line. It was like creating a business that we could sell to blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm in this too. Like, I'll benefit. But I'm like, part of that, I know it gave me cancer because I was like up for like 3 months in a row. I only slept like 3 hours a night. I was barely eating. Like, I just had to get this done. And we had no money to do this thing.
So that was the first thing in your head, really.
Yeah, so it's like I was getting no sleep. And then there would be times where me and my boss would like go head to head because I was like trying to stand up for myself and being like, dude, I slept like 3 hours a night. I can't do this other thing that somebody isn't doing properly.
Right. So you guys would clash, basically. Your boss would clash, you would clash.
Yeah, and it was just like there were like 2 times specifically that it's like I had conversations with my boss and like, I'm giving myself cancer right now. I'm like, my internal environment was just so toxic.
Very stressful, and a lot of deadlines that you had to fulfill.
Well, that, and it's what more the problem was with me is like I could never stand up for myself. Like it was like I couldn't find my voice, therefore I couldn't get balance, or I couldn't ask for help or anything like that. So it's like I didn't get the help I needed to not get cancer. You know, like I was pretty much on my own until cancer made me ask for help. Like I just had to. Like I couldn't. There were things I just couldn't do. And there continue to be things that I just can't do because, like, my one vertebrae is fractured. It's like it's not just ever going to heal. It's fractured forever.
Right.
You know, and like because of the surgery, I can't do certain things, and like forever. And
so now, do you feel like you have a voice? I'm sure. Do you feel like you can stand up to yourself when it comes to certain issues?
Oh, absolutely. I told I mean, the thing with that you have to do when you are So I've been thinking a lot about, because I've had a lot of time on my hands since I haven't been going to work. I'm on disability. Hold on.